friends, it's Sarah from Sweet Scents from the Dollhouse. If you are new to my channel, welcome, subscribe, hang out with us. If you're returning waxy, as always, welcome back. So today is Wednesday, you know what that means, Wax Wars. Not exactly sure which Wednesday in February this is going up, but it's not Valentine's Day. Today I'm doing something a little bit different for Wax Wars. I was going to do a spotlight on Scentsy's Saint Nickerdoodle. If you remember, this was part of the Scents of the Season collection. It came out, what was it, 5 fragrances in total in the little Santa sack. This is a returning scent. It comes out every Christmas, I think, in the Scents of the Season bundle. It's been returning anyways for a couple years now. Seems to be a cult favorite among Scentsy fans. So I decided against it. I have never done a Wax Wars where I pit one Scentsy scent against another. But that is what I have done this week, folks. Today we are going to discuss Scentsy's Saint Nickerdoodle, Scentsy's Baked Apple Pie, as well as Scentsashionals Sweet Apple Spice. Because Sweet Apple Spice is closest to Saint Nickerdoodle, whereas Baked Apple Pie is supposed to be a pie scent. I have done a scent scores on Baked Apple Pie, and you can find that in my scent scores playlist. So, right off the hop, I'm not a big fan of Scentsy's Baked Apple Pie. It has been a staple in the Scentsy Classic or Corner Cafe collection, somewhere in there, for a long time. It happens to be a cult favorite. I'm not sure who is into that scent, but people must love it because it's been in the catalog forever. I personally am not a big fan of apple pie, period. So I think it's, as far as home fragrance is concerned, it's probably the safest, most predictable home fragrance scent ever. Scentsy's Baked Apple Pie, I find the top note is primarily cinnamon. So if you're not down with cinnamon, you probably won't like Scentsy's version of Baked Apple Pie. The middle note is apple, but it's predominantly cinnamon, and I get absolutely zero pie crust. At its peak, it had a steady 8-foot throw, but only for about 4.5 hours. It lasted 10 hours in total, but the last 6 hours, it was so hit or miss. Like, sometimes you couldn't even tell that there was anything in the warmer, and then other times you got just the lightest whiff of cinnamon. So on scent and performance, it is definitely not my favorite. This year was my first Christmas as a Scentsy consultant, so I was really eager to try Saint Nickerdoodle. I had heard all of these rave reviews, and in my opinion, I wish that Scentsy would just be done with Baked Apple Pie and replace it with Saint Nickerdoodle, because this scent is fantastic. Saint Nickerdoodle, I think, is what Scentsy's apple pie should be. It's lacking the pie note as well, but Baked Apple Pie isn't pie without the crust. So you might as well replace it with Saint Nickerdoodle, because you can actually smell those baked apples as the primary note. There's a tiny bit of spice, but primarily those baked apples. That's what people want to smell when they smell pie, not cinnamon pie. Apple pie. With Saint Nickerdoodle, you definitely get that tiny bit of spice, as well as the dust of like powdered sugar. It is to die for. And I find I've read a couple of reviews that say Saint Nickerdoodle is super sweet, but honestly, I think it's just the right amount of spices as well as that powdered sugar. Oh, it's fantastic. So it got on average about the same 8-foot throw for the first 3 hours. Then it slowly, progressively shrunk. Then it was 4 feet, 2 feet, and nothing. At the 9-hour mark, I took it off. So it's got the same amount of throw, and it lasts a little bit less, by 1 hour. But I would much prefer on scent Saint Nickerdoodle over Scentsy's Baked Apple Pie any day. And then I measured it against Scentsashionals Sweet Apple Spice. Oh my goodness. On cold, this isn't as, like, it's not bad. Some sensational scents, I can't even stand opening the clamshell. This one was not bad. Put heat to it. Oh my goodness, it got gross. So 2 cubes in a super, super hot warmer. Yeah, on cold, it doesn't smell too bad at all. I put 2 cubes in a super duper hot warmer. The kids and I were killing ourselves laughing because if you stood too close to the warmer, you could actually taste something in the back of your throat. And the kids and I were like gagging and laughing. So I unplugged it and moved it out into the dining room where nobody was, because if it's making the back of your throat tingle, something's really not right. After about 4.5 hours, that nasty, super strong, I have no idea what the heck it was, faded, and then this was just a beautiful kind of apple spice note. It actually wasn't bad after the 4-hour mark. It needed to simmer down a little bit. Perhaps it would have been different if I had only put 1 cube in and it wouldn't have been as powerful. But this one lasted a total of 17 hours. It was like that apple spice scent that just wouldn't quit, and apple spice is not my favorite. So I'm really happy to have finished this Wax Wars, and I will be putting these apple spice cinnamon nonsense away till next year. So if I had to choose between these 2 Scentsationals, warm apple pie and sweet apple spice, I would definitely pick their warm apple pie. Much like Scentsy, you don't get a pie note to it, but you do get with this one predominantly apples and cinnamon equal parts, whereas Scentsy's baked apple pie, it's just cinnamon. And if I was to choose between Scentsy's St. Nickerdoodle versus Scentsy's baked apple pie, I would choose St. Nickerdoodle hands down any day. It's more of a dynamic scent. You get all of the scent notes, the baked apples. You get a little bit of spice, as well as it's balanced very well with the powdered sugar. If you are an apple pie fan, I would definitely recommend next season stocking up on St. Nickerdoodle for your apple pie fixes year round. I absolutely love this scent. It was probably one of my favorites out of the Scents of the Season bundle this year. I'd say it was probably my 3rd. But again, on performance, it lasted 1 hour less, but who cares? I would much rather have a phenomenal scent than, a subpar scent for a longer period of time. But again, this is just my opinion. St. Nickerdoodle definitely rocks and wins out of all of the scents in this video, for sure. On fragrance, performance, meh. It makes up for it as far as the authentic apple scent. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, smash the bell above for future content notification. I look forward to bringing you next week's video on Valentine's Day. We're doing Red Hot Cinnamon, folks. Bye for now.